It's wild to think about, but in just a couple of years, artificial intelligence has completely transformed higher education. I mean, it's gone from this niche, kind of nerdy topic to a force that's reshaping everything. What felt like science fiction yesterday is now, for students and teachers, just the new reality. So, let's start with the sheer scale of this thing. Because this isn't just some passing trend. No, this is more like a tidal wave that has washed over campuses, seemingly overnight. And believe me, the numbers are absolutely staggering. Okay, get this. As of 2025, a whopping 92% of students in the UK are using AI as part of their studies. Think about that for a second. That's not a majority, that's pretty much everyone. It's become totally universal. But what really gets me is the speed. This wasn't some slow, gradual adoption curve. That massive leap from 66% to 92% happened in just one single academic year. It just shows you how fast AI went from a novelty to a non-negotiable part of the student toolkit. And this isn't just a UK thing, not by a long shot. It's a global phenomenon. We're seeing 86% of students worldwide are using AI. And for a huge chunk of them, it's become a regular habit. A quarter of all students are logging into an AI tool every single day. That's incredible. So what does this actually feel like for the students on the ground? What are the real-world upsides and downsides of having this AI study buddy in your pocket 24/7? This right here, this slide just perfectly captures the dilemma. On one hand, of course, AI is a huge help. It saves time, it can improve the quality of your work. But on the other hand, it comes with a ton of anxiety. Over half of students are genuinely afraid of being accused of cheating, and just as many are worried the AI is just going to give them wrong information. And what are they using it for? Well, mostly for legit study help, right? Things like explaining tough concepts, summarizing dense articles, or just brainstorming research ideas. But here's the part that keeps university administrators up at night. Almost 1 in 5 students admits they've taken AI-generated text and just dropped it directly into their assignments. And that's the challenge. Which, of course, brings us to the institutions themselves. They are now in this frantic race to adapt to a student body that is, for all intents and purposes, completely AI native. And why the mad dash? Well, how about this number? Since 2022, there's been a nearly 400% increase in cheating incidents linked to AI. All the old rules about academic integrity, they're basically obsolete overnight. But here's where you find this huge critical disconnect. You've got 57% of institutions saying, yes, AI is a strategic priority for us. But then you look closer and see that only 39% of them actually have a clear policy on how to use it. There's this massive gap between knowing there's a problem and actually doing something about it. And hey, it's not just the students. The faculty and staff are jumping on the AI bandwagon too at an incredible rate. But here's the paradox. Even though they're using the tools themselves, a lot of them feel totally unprepared to teach their students how to use them ethically and effectively. It's creating this leadership vacuum at the worst possible time. So is the only answer to just ban these tools? To play this endless game of cat and mouse? Well, not necessarily. We're actually at a really interesting turning point, where some educators are shifting their focus away from just policing AI and toward actually teaching with it. And the key idea here is this concept of wild AI versus tamed AI. Now, wild AI, that's your public tools like ChatGPT. They're incredibly powerful because they pull from the whole internet. But that also means a high risk of plagiarism, and who knows if the info's even right. Tamed AI is a totally different approach. It's about using tools that are specifically calibrated by teachers, using their own course materials. It's a much safer, more focused way to learn. And this isn't just some theory. Take a look at this. This is the CG Scholar platform, and it's a perfect real-world example of this tamed AI idea in action. It's built from the ground up specifically for the classroom. So how does it actually work? It's a simple but really powerful 3-step process. First, the teacher uploads their own course materials, the syllabus, readings, grading rubric, all of it. Then, and this is the crucial part, the AI is trained only on that specific information, not the entire internet. So then when a student submits their work, the AI gives them feedback based on exactly what the teacher wants them to learn. And the results are pretty amazing. I love this quote from a teacher in the pilot study. She said, It encouraged students to revise their work, which is difficult to do. Anyone who's been a teacher knows how true that is. It really transforms the AI from just an answer machine into a real learning partner. But as incredible tools like this start to emerge, it raises a much bigger, more systemic question. This whole new AI reality, it's creating a brand new kind of digital divide.
We're seeing new lines of inequality being drawn right before our eyes. There's a gender gap, where men report being more enthusiastic about AI. There's a wealth gap, where wealthier students are engaging with it more. And there's this fascinating global gap. In China, 83% of students are optimistic about AI. In the US, only 39%. That points to some really different cultural views on this technology. And that divide in attitude, well, it's reflected in the money. The United States is pouring nearly $110 billion into private AI. China is investing about $9 billion. That's a huge difference, and you can bet that it's going to shape who gets access to the best educational AI tools in the years to come. Okay, so let's pull all this together. What are the big takeaways? First, AI adoption by students isn't just happening, it's universal and it's speeding up. Second, the old rules of the game for academic integrity are broken. Third, the institutions are struggling to keep up. And finally, if we're not careful, AI could make educational inequality even worse. Which leaves us with one final, really important question. There is no doubt that AI is rewriting the rules of education. The challenge now for every single one of us, students, teachers, policymakers, is to make sure we're writing the right ones.